What is up? I want to talk about a movie today that I feel very strongly, very deeply about. It's a movie that holds a special place in my heart, and after hours of research and reflection, I truly believe that this movie is one of the greats, even a masterpiece. I don't say that lightly because I like to use that word sparingly. A lot of people like to call things masterpieces when they're not really masterpieces. See, people have always been talking about weird-ass movies like The Godfather and Shawshank Redemption being up there among the greatest movies of all time, but I think when people say that sort of thing, they're doing it to sound smarter than they are. Those movies didn't earn their right to be there. They got nothing. They got nothing on the movie I'm about to talk about. So Napoleon Dynamite is a masterpiece. There's no way around it. I don't make the rules. It's a movie about this really handsome guy named Napoleon who lives with this cool ass family in Idaho, and he meets this freaking badass named Pedro, and they embark on an epic adventure to make Pedro become class president, and Napoleon feeds a llama named Tina, and yeah. See, my dad rented it one day, back when movie rental stores still existed, because it was one of those word-of-mouth movies that he'd heard of and always wanted to watch. I wasn't really interested. I probably looked at the cover of the DVD and thought it looked whack, so I only saw bits and pieces, but all I remember is that my dad was laughing a lot, and I didn't really know why. I was like 9 years old at the time. Years later, I've come to realize that the reason that I didn't care for this movie as a kid was simply because I was a dumb, stupid kid, and only smart people are allowed to like this movie. Napoleon Dynamite was made on a $400,000 budget and made back $46 million at the international box office, so they didn't do too badly for themselves. Jared Hess actually based most of the events of this movie on his own experiences as a teenager. The town that it was set and filmed in is actually where he grew up, in Preston, Idaho, and I love that this movie is authentic like that. So let's talk about the character Napoleon. Cool ass kid going through high school, doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks of him. He walks around in these really bitchin' t-shirts and just constantly walks around with that don't fuck with me energy throughout the entire movie. So people rarely fuck with him, and when they do, there's gonna be consequences. He draws fairy tale creatures and tells all these badass stories about himself hunting wolverines in Alaska while all these jocks just cream in their shorts. And he also goes to prom looking like a total stud. So basically this man is already my hero right off the bat. Napoleon meets Pedro, the Mexican exchange student, who is in fact a bad boy by definition, and these two hit it off immediately. And what I really admire about Pedro is that he does what he wants. He wants to ride a bike to school, he can ride a bike to school. He wants to shave his head and wear a wig, he can go and do that. He wants to run for class president, I'll vote for him every day of the week. No one can stop him. He's the man. No one touches him. He's even got cousins that will fuck you up if you try to touch him. So in the meantime, we follow Napoleon and Pedro as they ride bikes together and have some of the most thought-provoking conversations to grace the big screen.
So me and you are pretty much friends by now, right?
Yes.
Napoleon lives with his brother Kip, who is equally as cool because he chats to babes all day on the internet, and he's actually a really impressive fighter who, if I saw him walking towards me on the street, I'd probably turn around and run the other way. Napoleon and Kip also live with their grandmother, who goes ahead and yeets off a sand dune, and their Uncle Rico rocks up to take care of them while she's in the hospital. Uncle Rico is actually the greatest movie character of all time, who's basically just there to ruin Napoleon's life. He wants to get rich quick so he can win back his ex-girlfriend, and in the process of doing that and getting into these get-rich-quick schemes with Kip, he likes to ruin Napoleon's life just because it's funny.
Watch this.
There's also this girl from school named Deb who Kip scares away.
Trying to earn money for college.
Your mom goes to college.
And Napoleon strikes up a friendship with her at school by being the lady killer he is.
I see you're drinking 1%. Is that because you think you're fat?
Deb goes on to go to prom with Pedro, while Napoleon goes with this chick named Trisha by drawing a really nice sketch of her.
Do you want to go over by my friend Pedro and dance really quick?
Who does she think she is? Trisha is friends with this super popular chick named Summer, who Pedro is up against in the running for class president. And this is okay for Pedro that he has a bit of competition, because Summer is actually irrelevant. She's a pretty trash person. She tells herself she's better than Pedro when she's not. She's not very nice. She's got a resting bitch face. Napoleon and Pedro set out to promote Pedro as class president and start slapping flyers and everything in the hallway, just slapping that shit everywhere. And god damn it if Napoleon's shirt isn't the best thing I've ever seen. I almost want to go down to the description of this video and click on that Amazon link and order one of those bad boys for myself on Amazon. They've even got a full costume out there. Even better, Halloween do be coming up. I do need a costume. Meanwhile, Uncle Rico keeps doing Uncle Rico things, and around this point in the movie, he officially decides to end Napoleon's life by handing out this to Trisha and Summer on the street. Well, that's yeah. And then the girls use that against Napoleon at school by sticking them all over his locker because they have nothing going for their campaign and have to sabotage Napoleon and Pedro to get ahead. But that's okay because Napoleon doesn't take shit from Uncle Rico and everything comes to a head in the most epic movie showdown of all time. Elsewhere, Pedro just keeps being the alpha he is and asserts dominance by making a summer piñata in front of the school. I have no words, that's amazing. Then we get to the end, the climax, the showdown where Pedro finally goes for class president on election day against Summer, and Napoleon and Pedro find out that they were supposed to prepare some kind of performance along with their speech. But unfortunately for them, all Pedro had planned was this.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
Personally, that speech would have been enough for me to vote for Pedro right there and then, but if that speech wasn't enough, Napoleon improvises a solo dance in front of the entire school and absolutely tears the stage apart. I mean tears the stage apart, and what I mean by that is that this dance would make John Travolta feel insecure about himself. And just like that, Pedro becomes class president, which is the way things should be and always should be, and Summer goes to hell, which is where she belongs. Now, when this movie came out, no one behind the movie knew if people would like it or not. And the movie is apparently so weird to most people that algorithms on streaming services literally have a hard time working out if a user's gonna like Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, they actually gave it a proper name. It's called the Napoleon Dynamite problem. Some people really like this movie and some people really fucking hate it. Hey, you know what would be really fun? Checking out the lowest Letterboxd reviews of this movie. They can't be that bad. My internet crashed when I had about 15 minutes left of this movie, and I thanked the Lords for saving me from this pointless, soulless, torturous excuse of a movie. There wasn't a single line or scene in this movie that I can in good conscience consider a joke. Sorry, I got yelled at by some teens that said I looked like Napoleon Dynamite, which is to say I fucking hate this movie despite having never seen it. I fucking hate this movie, I'm being forced to rewatch it and I just hate it so much. Deadass made me feel queasy and had to stop watching. 0 stars, this movie sucks. Bro, honestly, bro, I was disappointed, bro. I was forced to watch this against my will. I fucking hate this movie. Worst fucking movie ever. I hate this movie, I don't care. What a steaming pile of S. This is one big cringe. Fucking awful. 2 hours I'll never get back. Physically painful to watch. Painfully unfunny. Not funny. Unicorn emoji. I hate this movie. I hate the coloring. I hate everything. Okay. One of the most god-awful pointless things I've ever seen. I may not remember much of the content, but I remember the payoff made me want to douse myself in gasoline. If someone put a gun to my head and told me to watch this movie, I would put the gun to my mouth. Okay, well that is one problem solved. In all seriousness, I really do think this movie had a positive impact on me as a person. I could even go as far as to say it changed my life, because I can't really ask for more than this guy just taking on the world and being a fucking badass in general, to be honest. Some might say this is a love it or hate it type of movie, but to me, this is clearly a true cinematic achievement, and I'm tired of pretending otherwise. And I hope this video made you realize some things about Napoleon Dynamite that you might not have had you not watched my incredibly well thought out analysis. Now, if you're still watching, thank you for making it this far, because I have something really cool to offer in exchange for you to making it to the end of the video. Now, if you head directly below this video, on the left-hand side under the title, you should see a thumbs up icon. If you click on it with your mouse, it actually colors it in, and in my opinion, just gives it a bit more character. It looks a bit bland otherwise if it's not colored in. There should also be a thumbs down right next to it, but you guys don't need to worry about that one, not on this channel. While you're there, there's also this subscribe button right next to my channel name. You can go ahead and click on that one as well, because if you do, it actually changes the color from red to gray, which is a nice switch up because I personally get sick of seeing too much of one color for too long. It makes my eyes hurt. You'll also notice that it actually adds the letter D to the end of the word. I'm personally a big fan of the letter D, only because it stands for something that is very, very important to me, which is my channel. So if you need a bit more D in your life, go ahead and click that subscribe button, because not only will there be an extra D, but you'll also see a bit more of me in the future. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.
You're gonna clean my van right now.
Get off of me, bodega!
That's true.